I just got out of a listing appointment. So I'm in real estate, been doing this for 21 years. And right around, let's say 2011, I started to get into what's called prospecting. That's basically pick up the phone every day and calling people that don't always want to hear from you. So right around that 2011-12 mark, I was calling on what's called expired listings. These are homes that were on the market and then they failed to sell, and there were a lot of them. This is right in the middle of the downturn. And in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I'm from, the market was just falling, and like many parts of the country. So right around 2013, I had called an expired listing. This is somebody that tried to sell, failed to sell, and not happy with their agent and not happy with the real estate process at all. His name is Harry. Called him up and he said, hey, I'm going to lease my house. He doesn't even live here. He lives in Atlanta, and I'm going to lease it out for a couple years, then I'll call you. 2013, still leased. Call him again, 2014, and I call them probably 3 or 4 times a year. So the point of this story is to tell you the other side of it. That was 10 years ago. I go to a listing appointment yesterday morning, and I get a text from Harry out of the blue. Hey, Kev, I'm back in Atlanta. I'm back from Atlanta. I'm back in Grand Rapids. I'm ready to go. I just met with him for the first time face-to-face. That was 10 years ago that I started talking with him. In this business, we call it a nurture, a long-term nurture. And that's the challenge, is that so many people are not willing to play the long game. They lack what's called persistence. I met with him in the living room of his vacant house that had been occupied for a tenant for the last decade. And he said, I've never seen anything like it. He said, I've worked with athletes. I've worked with baseball players and football players. He goes, I've never seen anything like this. He goes, you literally have followed up with me for 10 years. And I just said, I appreciate you calling me and following up with me. He said, no. He said, I told you that when I'm ready to list my house, you're my guy. He's like, I just never seen it. I don't understand what that is. Like, what is that? I said, Harry, I said, I appreciate it. I said, it's persistence. I'm just persistent. I'm like a dog. I bite on the leg. I'm not going to let go. But then it begs another question, because there's something underneath that. What is that thing? And as we really dig into it, there's reasons that allow us to be more persistent rather than not. Why is it that most real estate agents chase after the low-hanging fruit? The easy business. If someone said to a real estate agent, hey, by the way, this is somebody that's going to sell their house in 10 years. And all you need to do is reach out to them once every 3 months or so, text, phone call, email, but it's for 10 years, for the next decade. I would guess, and I'm probably not too far off, the percentage of agents that would actually do that would be somewhere around the 0.0001 mark. Certainly no more than 1% for sure. And maybe the top 1% would. And the reason is because they lack persistence. They lack an eye for the long game. They're in it for the short game. And those long-term nurtures are going to go and find somebody else. And so what's behind it? How can I capture this essence of persistence? It's because I have big reasons for doing so. That's it. Period. And someone might even ask, well, what about confidence? Where does that fit into this? Oh, I believe that has a lot to do with it. The level of confidence one has allows us to actually convey our ability to do the job and have them trust it through the words we're using and the way that we communicate, for sure. But here's the deal. When you have a big ass reason for doing it, you will then level up on your level of confidence. Your self-image can be adjusted like a thermostat because you have big reasons for doing so. And those reasons are truly unique to you. And they're truly unique for me. I have my own reasons for doing that. There's certain things that I value and I'm going after that require me to follow through until such time that someone tells me to go away, or I die or they die. That's it. It's buried within me. It's a philosophy. And my self-image is such that I believe I'm worthy of that long-term success and the short term, because not everybody takes 10 years. Thank God, right? But underneath it, that's what it is. It's a big reason for doing so. So I'm going to leave you this today. As you're thinking about the reasons why, here's the deal though, because if you don't have this, it makes it hard. It's hard enough anyway. So imagine doing something without having a reason for doing it, without having a big goal at the end. There's no reason for it. It's like a hamster wheel. And so I've been able to connect the dots between the now behavior with the future success. And I never forget what that looks like. I never forget the reasons why I'm doing that. I never forget the vacations that I'm funding for my beautiful family. I'm never forgetting the concept of financial freedom. And I'm certainly never forgetting the concept of leaving people better off than I find them everywhere I turn, real estate being one of them. So if I knew that, and I did know, 10 years ago I knew that if I can connect with Harry and he gets to experience the way that I can bring real estate to him, I know I'd leave him better off than I found him. I told him that a decade ago, probably not in those exact words, but I'm going to encourage you to find the reason underneath the reason underneath the reason. So you'll come up with a reason. You'll say, why do I want to be successful? Well, that's the surface reason. Whatever that answer is, go another level deep. And once you get to that next level deep, ask yourself again and keep on going 7 levels deep. When you get to the bottom of those 7, and each time you ask the question, ask yourself, why is that important? Well, why is that important? Well, why is that important? And when you get to the 7th one, this is where the tears should be welling up in your eyes. This is where you should have some really strong emotions around it, because you've gotten to the heart of the matter. You've moved from the head to the heart, and the honesty is now pouring out of you. This is the reason why it's important for you to follow up if you're in sales with prospects or whatever you're up to. This is the reason for the long game. This is the reason for persistence. Napoleon Hill dedicated an entire chapter in Think and Grow Rich to this one concept, persistence. And he actually called it one of the most important things that we can actually adopt. So you want to win in life? You want to win in business? Play the long game. Play the long game. Develop persistence. And a way to do that is to make a firm commitment up front. You've decided you're going to do it no matter what. So you don't have to wake up every day and ask yourself and go through that terrible emotion of wrestling with yourself if I'm going to do it, because you already made that decision. I made the decision about 12, 13 years ago that I was going to do this no matter what. So every day I wake up, I don't have to ask myself the question again. I already made that decision once. I'm not going to make it again. And I think about those reasons why every single day. It fuels me to get up and do the thing over and over and over again. It's monotonous, it's boring, but you know what? I've connected the dots between the activity and the behavior and the reward. So in that way, I've fulfilled the loop. The loop has been fulfilled. I recognize that when I do this now, I get that reward later on. And those rewards are so many, because it's not just for me, it's for other people. So go out there and make a commitment, play the long game, develop persistence by finding out your why, and I promise you magical things will happen.